Casino in Las Vegas. Dave Bontempo and BJ Flores with you as our main event is up next. Beibut Shumenov and Enrique Ornelas for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship. Shumenov, the champion, making the defense here in Las Vegas, which is home for him now. His first fight since last July, so a few months off, and we'll see if there's any ring rust that he is dealing with. And this man, Enrique Ornelas, is coming up from the 168-pound division, so he's punching above his natural weight class, trying to capture a 175-pound championship. And you would think he was a decided underdog based on those other fights at 168. He's 3 years older than Shumenov. The height the same, and the reach substantial for Shumenov. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell at all. Only the referee can stop the fight, but physicians have input, and let's meet the fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golden Boy Promotions and KZ Event Productions, in association with Fox Sports Net, Fox Deportes, Fuel TV, and the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino are proud to present our featured bout of the evening, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA IBA Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, and by DeWalt Power Tools and their new 20-volt max brushless technology, they are guaranteed tough. Tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Skip Avancino. Commissioners are Francisco Aguilar, Bill Brady, TJ Day, and Pat Lundenvall. The executive director is Keith Kaiser. Supervisor at ringside is George Martinez. Physicians at ringside, the lead is Dr. James Game, assisted by Dr. Jay Coates and Dr. Al Capana. Our timekeepers this evening are Ernie Howdeggy and Toby Murray. The 3 judges scoring this bout will be Bert Clements, Dick Houck, and Robert Hoyle. And the man in charge of the action, Hall of Famer, the fair but firm Joe Cortez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, right here in exciting Las Vegas, Nevada, it's time for the leather to fly. This is the main event. Introducing first, he'll be fighting out of the red corner. He entered the ring wearing white, trimmed in black, and he weighed in at 174.5 pounds. His professional record, 33 victories, 7 defeats, 21 big wins by knockout. He comes to us from Guanajuato, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, Enrique Ornellas. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing black trimmed in gold, and he weighed the same as his opponent, 174.5 pounds. He was a 2004 Olympian, and now is a professional. His professional record stands at 12 victories, 8 wins by knockout with only 1 defeat. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Kazakhstan, introducing the current and defending WBA and IBA Light Heavyweight Champion of the World, Beibut Shumenov.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. Yo leí las reglas en camerino. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all time. Most importantly, protect yourselves at all time. Mucha suerte. God bless you both. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm.
We got that, Joe. And Enrique Ornelas losses to Bernard Hopkins and Robert Stiglitz. Big matches at 168. He moves up now to 175. And Shumenov lost to Gabriel Campillo and then beat him back here in Vegas to capture his title.
He did, but even on the fight that he won, Dave, it was a very close and controversial fight. A lot of people thought that Campillo won the fight, and Beibut Shumenov goes out there with something to prove in every single fight. Great amateur pedigree.
Yeah, sure. He represented Kazakhstan in 2004 in the Olympics. Won a fight and then lost.
He had a hand injury in the Olympics, I believe. attributed the loss to him having a hand injury. But early in this first round, he's come right out. He's not really waiting to get the ball rolling, is he, Dave?
Now he's really unloading with these power shots and walks into a right hand by Ornelas, and probably taking some liberties about the fact that Ornelas is a 168-pounder. He walked in there like he wasn't afraid of what Ornelas could do at 175.
He did, and you see Ornelas nice and calm, showing the experience, showing the poise. Maybe he hasn't beaten the top-level opposition, but he knows what to do when he's in there. He took all those Shumenov punches and he countered him with a nice short right hand.
Shumenov in a division that includes the likes of Chad Dawson, Taboris Cloud, Nathan Cleverly. Big names in the 175-pound circuit, and he's one of the champions.
Jean-Pascal as well. And that's what Shumenov's always said. I want to unify the division. I want to unify the light heavyweight title. He won the title in his 10th pro fight. He's trying to set records in everything he does, and a unification fight before fight number 15 might make the record books again.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment if you can do that. You keep a special eye on guys who win the titles around like the 10th and 12th fights. Usually advertising that they've got something special going on.
Evander Holyfield, I believe, did it on his 12th pro fight, so he's in very good company.
It's a good right hand by Shumenov and nails Ornelas. Here comes Shumenov.
And you saw something very nice.
A good uppercut here by Shumenov. And Ornelas, what is he doing against the ropes? He is taking a pounding.
Nice right uppercut by Shumenov.
You've got to do something if you're Ornelas. Joe Cortez looking in. You don't answer back. You give him a reason to stop the fight. Now he gets out of harm's way, but Ornelas took a load of punishment there and had no answer.
He definitely did take a lot of punches, but one thing Shumenov lacked to do was come back with his left hand. He shot heavy firepower from his right side, and Ornelas blocked it. And, he definitely took some of them, but not a whole lot of damage done on those ropes right there. But a lot of hard punches thrown. Good round for Shumenov.
All right, an active opening round.
Ok, pero tira cortito, sí, pues, tira cortito. Okay, yeah, you blocked a lot, but you got caught with the uppercut. You got caught, move inside, move inside. Muévete adentro, Está bien. Okay, don't let
You know he's gonna jump in wild punches. No weakness that round, but keep the hands tight. Okay. Great round. We leave it in.
Here we go. Beibut Shumenov unloading right hands. He landed a good straight right hand. Ornelas brought his guard up. He looped a right hand behind the guard, hit him back behind the head, and brought a good right uppercut up the middle. Really got Ornelas' attention and gave him that first round very clearly.
A head-snapping uppercut by Beibut Shumenov in the latter stages of round one. So here we go in the second round. Shumenov in the black trunks. Off to that great start. Double jab, right hand, forcing Ornelas back. Ornelas again back in the shell. And it's one thing, BJ, to say, well, I'll block most of these and I'll come back. But as far as a sustained strategy, quote unquote, for Ornelas, it's bizarre for him to be along the ropes as much as he's shown so far.
It is. Shumenov's got a lot of firepower, though, and Ornelas is not used to seeing speed and power maybe quite, put together so nicely like Shumenov is doing. So he's a little flustered, and he's just taking his time and trying to get a gauge on Shumenov's timing and his speed.
Here is Shumenov trying to close off the angle.
I don't think Ornelas expected to win these first 2, 3, 4 rounds. So we'll see if he makes the proper adjustments and he can make Shumenov pay. Tried to counter with the right hand over the top of the jab there.
And here comes Shumenov trying to parlay this early advantage, cutting off the ring nicely, and he senses the hesitancy in Ornelas.
He does. And Shumenov's a physical guy. He's always in good shape. And he lets his opponents know it. He'll fire off 20, 25 unanswered punches, and then he's right back in your face. Very frustrating for Ornelas.
What's it like training with him?
You know, Shumenov has always been a hard worker. He's always doing really good work there. He got Ornelas' attention. Nice right uppercut by Ornelas. But, you know, he's always been a very hard worker. You know, he wanted to spar 10 and 12 rounds when he didn't even have a second or third pro fight. So he's always wanted to, you know, get there fast, get there yesterday.
So he is getting to Ornelas tonight. There's a blood coming from the scalp, forehead area of Ornelas. And Joe Cortez has denoted the headbutt. And with the accidental butt, should that cause the fight to end inside of 4 rounds, we'll end up with the technical draw. The fight won't count on the records. If that headbutt forces the fight to be stopped after round 4, then whoever's ahead on the scorecards at that point is the winner. And they do score the round. Say if it stops halfway in the middle of the 5th round, they score that round too.
It doesn't look too serious right now, Dave. I think we're going to be all right. Another good round for Shumenov.
All right, break out, break out, break out, break out, break out, break out.
All right, so the corner has some work to do, and they will look at Ornelas.
Headbutt. Dijo, tienes que tirar algo, no te dejes.
Es que ahorita tiene mucho y no se da cuenta él.
Ok, pero todavía te puede pegar con algo, mijo. Toma, tápate bien, pero aquí está abierto el pecho.
Ya viene. Me está cansando el cabrón.
Ok, no, pero tienes que tirar algo, si no. Tienes que tirar algo, mijo, no te esperes. Está abierto, agáchate aquí. Acá, Está abierto el pecho,
You see right here where we think what caused the blood on the top of Ornelas' hand. Now he comes out and wipes the top of his head. Joe Cortez ruled it a butt.
He was right on top of it. So here we go into round 3. Beibut Shumenov and Enrique Ornelas for Shumenov's WBA Light Heavyweight Championship. We are at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas on Golden Boy Live. Dave Fontempo along with BJ Flores. Here comes Shumenov again. Good right hand to the body.
Shumenov's so difficult, Dave, because he's a very active fighter. He goes up and down. He works well to the body and the head. If there's one thing I could say about him, he doesn't combine his punches as well as some of the other champions in his weight bracket, but he's very strong and he's very physical for all 12 rounds.
Speaking about this weight bracket, it's very interesting because you're an elite cruiserweight contender, and that's up about 25 pounds on this division. There's nowhere for these guys to go, 175. What does a guy 182 pounds do?
He tries to make 175.
He gets down, and the guy that's 175, if he runs out of opponents, he either goes 168 or he's just stuck.
He is stuck, yeah. It's a no man's land division there, the cruiserweight division. But, you know, Shumenov has got a lot of good opponents right in front of him, so he doesn't really have to worry about going anywhere. He's got Pascal, he's got Dawson, he's got Tavoris Cloud. The winner of that Pascal and Cloud fight, you know, is going to be a very lucrative matchup for him. And he's always said he wants to unify the title, so that's going to be a great opportunity for him to do that.
And maybe the idea that the guys really don't have anywhere to go should strengthen the light heavyweight division, because these guys are going to try to focus.
I think that makes that light heavyweight division a very talent-laden, a very strong division. So he's got a lot of options there. He doesn't have to worry about going anywhere else.
Good jab here by Shumenov. Ornelas trying to dig in from the corner, but he's being muscled here by the bigger man.
Yes. Good body shot by Shumenov. Shumenov's really good at just standing right in front of his opponent, controlling him with the jab and controlling him with hard body shots. He's a very aggressive fighter.
What's interesting when you look at these guys is you had to take a look at them and say, well, one guy's punching above his natural weight class. You might think Ornelas is fine and that Shumenov is moving up because of the wiry build. Yet it's the other way around.
But you see when the two punch, who has the more authoritative and harder punches, and it's Shumenov every single time.
Lands a right hand there on Ornelas.
And Ornelas is going to have troubles landing anything unless he can time the jab of Shumenov, or he can use his own double jab to set up other power punches. We've been saying that all night, Dave.
All right, final seconds of round 3, and Shumenov continues to apply the pressure. All right, so we continue along. Beibut Shumenov and Enrique Ornelas. The defense of Shumenov's WBA light heavyweight championship.
All right, hey, hold, stop. I want to help both hold it. Let's go.
Now they tap up after they both acknowledge the holding.
When they get inside like that, it's very important that both guys really can, initiate and be physical with one another. That's exactly what Beibut Shumenov and Ornelas both tried to do. They both tried to be rough, use the forearms to let him know, hey, this isn't somewhere you want to come. It's not going to be easy in here.
Shumenov doing a nice job cutting off the angles and then jumping right on top of Ornelas.
Beautiful.
And, we've seen him do more than guys like Bernard Hopkins and Stiglitz did with Ornelas, who's a durable guy. But coming up here and facing what he's getting here from Shumenov, he's taking more than we've seen in other fights from him.
Yeah, he sure is. He was in a decent fight with Bernard Hopkins, but, once again, Shumenov is a much more physical guy than Hopkins. Hopkins is very intelligent, very smart, has ways of making fighters look very bad, but Shumenov is very physical.
So how much can he take? Is Ornelas in a lot of trouble that way? Do you think he's in danger at some point if he doesn't do something about being stopped here?
Yeah, he is. He's not really taking a lot of those punches too clean. His hands are up. It's tough to knock out a fighter, Dave, who's not trying to fight. And right now, Ornelas is just kind of picking his spots and being very defensive. So it's tough to get a guy like that out of there. But with that being said, Shumenov's doing excellent work. He's doing everything he can do. Up and down with the jab, body shots, head shots. He's being very effective.
Right hand by Shumenov and being active all the time. Works the body here. Yeah, I love the pace of the fight that he is setting.
It's amazing. This guy's a gym rat. He's always in good shape. So much for the concept of ring rust.
I was about to ask you about that. Right away, he kind of showed that those reflexes were there. And he's doing an excellent job of cutting off the ring. He's anticipating.
He is. He's got his guy in front of him all the time. The one thing that you can say is Shumenov is always able to touch Ornelas, and Ornelas is never able to touch Shumenov. And that's part of Shumenov having his range and having his punch selection very precise tonight.
There's Ornelas trying to get in on Shumenov. It looks like he's toying with him in this situation because he knows everything coming at him. He's able to stave it off and then move.
Exactly. Ornelas is confused right now. He doesn't know how to be offensive. And his corner might not be giving him the right instructions.
Final seconds of round 4, and the Shumenov show continues. We're back at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Dave Bontempo and BJ Flores with you as Beibut Shumenov, the WBA light heavyweight champion, doing a number on Enrique Ornelas, and Shumenov coming in here as a prohibitive favorite, and he's fighting like it.
He absolutely is. He's got a lot of confidence, Dave. He's landing punches, and his corner gave him some really good instruction after the last round. Don't get bored of hitting him. Don't get repetitious and switch up your timing. So if he tries to counter you, very good instructions by Dewey Cooper, and Beibut's just having his way in there.
That's an important consideration because guys might just get distracted in there as, okay, I'm doing well, and then sort of stop and hit a wall.
We've seen it happen quite a bit. Guys will go into a pattern, win the first 7, 8, 9 rounds, and then get knocked out late in the fight because they get bored, they get a little careless. And Dewey's continually reminding Beibut, listen, don't get tired of it, and then switch your timing up so you can't get countered. Great instruction.
And he told him he was putting on a great performance, which a fair assessment gives you a lot of respect for your corner guy when he tells you both. When you are doing well and not just, come on, come on, come on.
Sometimes your guy deserves a little pat on the back, and I think Beibut through 5 rounds deserves that.
He is in a terrific rhythm here. Talked about the fact he's a gym rat, and he has come out and set a blazing pace here. Good right hand. And you love watching him step back now and cut off the ring.
He does. He's always in range. He just finds a way to land his punches. Even when they're not all landing cleanly, he's throwing them, and they're still effective because he's still controlling the tempo and the momentum of the fight.
I think one thing you have to like about Shumenov so far is he's not fighting down to the level of his opponent. Sometimes that can happen.
Absolutely not. He's putting on a great exhibition, Dave. And you know, one thing I love about him being a fighter, you know, a lot of guys can't just step in and land that right-hand lead every single time like he's doing. It doesn't seem like he can miss that punch, whether it hits gloves or hits Ornelas' chin. He's very effective with that right hand, and that's a strong hand.
Right-hand lead against a righty, too. It's a little bit against the textbook, so you have to be fast enough to get away with that.
But watch, he slides right in and lands it almost every single time. Whether he uses the jab or not, he's always able to land that straight right. Very good feet.
That's good footwork with him sliding into position. He does the homework before the test, giving himself the good position. So as round 5 winds its way down and he misses that right hand from Ornelas, Beibut Shumenov is putting on an excellent show in defense of his championship. All right, they'll go back to the corners, get their assessments.
Yeah. Be careful. Yeah, he's doing dirty Mexican style is what he's doing. Stay sharp.
That's gonna be frustrating, brother.
He has no stress. He's gonna keep trying to get dirtier and dirtier. So stay focused. No weaknesses yet. Keep it deep and strong.
We've talked about Shumenov being in great shape, which he is, and one of the things he is also is a great finisher. We saw that in his last fight. Look at the angles here. Keeps putting the punches together. Good leverage. One thing I loved about that, BJ, was his balance.
Yeah, tremendous balance. And one thing he does, he's got a great punch arsenal. Body shots, head shots, looping shots, and straight shots. If there is an opening, he's going to find it, and that's exactly what he did against Danny Santiago, back in July.
All right, is that in store for us later tonight? We shall see. Ornelas is a tough, durable guy who fights well enough to make the other guy work, but not usually to win in a big fight.
And so far, I got it a shutout. I got it 5 rounds to 0, Dave, and he hasn't even remotely done enough to possibly win a round. So Beibut's in total control right now.
Shumenov always looking for the next angle. What do you make about what he's doing with his hands here? Is he's moving and separating the hands.
One thing he's doing, though, while his hands are down, he's out of range, and he's kind of using it to bait Ornelas. And, he's just kind of moving around the ring and seeing if he can look for any more and new openings.
Do whatever you want away from the inside.
This is very interesting. He's dominated, his last 3 opponents, William Joppy, Danny Santiago, and now he's dominating, Enrique Ornellas. Just a couple good a couple good light heavyweights here in America that, might make a good matchup for him. We got guys like Chad Dawson, who we talked about before, guys like Ryan Coyne, up and coming, guy out of St. Louis, a couple good quality guys that, might give him a good test.
I really would like to see him and Chad Dawson. That would be a nice battle, because this is a guy that would get inside against a powerful lefty, and Dawson coming off a nice win against Bernard Hopkins.
I think Dawson is tied up into a fight with Andre Ward at 168 pounds, so he might be out of the immediate future, but there are some good contenders in America that are coming up. I mentioned Ryan Coyne previously. There's a couple other big names in America that, I think would give him a better test than Ornelas is giving him.
He seems to understand something important, too. Okay, this is not the biggest name opponent, but you're a salesman out there. You're a champion. You're one of the 4. You want the other guys to fight you. And you not only have to win, but you have to have some type of an impressive or about the way you won that fight to keep your negotiating going.
Absolutely. No, he's impressive tonight. He's definitely impressive. But like I said, it's all about level of opposition. And I don't want to take anything away from Enrique Ornelas, but he's not on Beibut Shumenov's level. And, you know, I'd like to see him in there with somebody who's a little closer to his level.
Yeah, this is a 168-pound guy coming up. And doesn't have the power to match Shumenov, and Shumenov also has the speed. So, come up on the halfway part, and Shumenov continues to set the way against Ornelas. Shumenov and Enrique Ornelas.
We're now at the halfway mark, and this is the point where Ornelas has to put his foot on the gas pedal if he wants to show he wants to win this fight. I've got it as a shutout, 6-0 so far. Ornelas has shown nothing that he's going to do to make a change or make an adjustment. More of the same, round after round.
Here comes Shumenov now, putting on the pressure. They told him in the corner, good defense. I like that as a specialty in the last couple rounds. And you have the quick feet, the quick hands. That will create some defense for you, too.
Absolutely. And I think a punch that I would like to see Shumenov add into his arsenal is the left uppercut. The reason being is because Ornelas is catching most of the punches out in front of his face, catching them with the elbows, the body shots. The right uppercut has gotten through a couple times, but the left uppercut has been non-existent. And I think with Ornelas' stance, he can really make some waves with that punch.
There's an uppercut by Shumenov from the outside. That was a right uppercut.
It'd be very effective with so many right-hand leads like he shot to immediately bring that left uppercut right there. Ornelas is squared up. I think it would do a lot of damage.
There's the good right hand behind the jab, showing some good speed and turning into the punch nicely. So for Shumenov, talk about the ideal opponent coming back. A guy who's slower than you and coming up in weight class is a tailor-made opponent, and like we're talking about, we'll probably see him in a stiffer test next time.
Yeah, I think we all want to see that, and you know, Beibut himself, I'm sure, wants to see that as well. Being a champion, he wants to test himself against the best guys in the division, and you know, that's not happening tonight. But with all that being said, he's performing very, very well.
He's performing like a guy that does not want to and will not allow himself to set up and get any bad habits in a fight like this, which sometimes you could do when you go down a notch in the guys you're fighting. You get away with some things, and then you can develop some problems. But he's fighting with the intensity of, I'm not going to allow myself to learn any bad things.
He is on a stage and a platform. He knows everybody's watching, and he knows you're only as good as your last fight. Therefore, if he wants to have strong negotiations with the champion for his next fight, he knows he's got to be impressive tonight. So far he has, Dave.
Or be very vulnerable so they'll look past him. Yeah, well, we'll find you a fight.
That's another way of getting some of those guys.
All right, so in round 7, it's more of Shumenov. The jab, the right hand, the quick feet, the good leverage, the Shumenov package on display against Ornelas. Now we continue along as Beibut Shumenov putting on a show here into round 8 against Enrique Ornelas in defense of his WBA light heavyweight championship. Right hand lead gets blocked by Ornelas. And BJ, the interesting thing, he tries the right hand lead as if he's fighting a lefty and doesn't get caught with that.
The thing he does, Dave, he slides and he moves his left foot and his right foot simultaneously to get in the range like he's doing right now. So he doesn't ever really miss that punch. He's got that punch perfected. He knows how to land it. He knows himself and he knows his range. Dangerous combination.
Now the stuff he's doing, is that rhythmic or can they teach him? It looks like he seems like he's got his own beat that he's dancing to.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. He's found what's effective for him. When he first came over from Kazakhstan, he didn't really fight like this. And I think he's made adjustments through Dewey Cooper and through Kevin Berry, his previous trainer, and he's gotten into a rhythm that works well for him and he's very effective with it. Nice punch.
He gets drilled by Ornelas there. Yeah, one of the generalizations we've always heard about the fighters coming over from the Kazakhstan area and Russia is the straight-up European style, and they don't bend, and they have to be taught that. But then if they are taught that, then they improve a lot.
Yeah, he's very effective, and Shumenov looks like he might be a good dancer. He's got a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of swag to him. He's up and down, and he just, you know, he doesn't have the standard European style straight up. He works the body well. Very strong, very great, very good shape. Nice right hand by Shumenov.
And when you have the rhythm the way he does and everything is flowing, you have the effect of toying with your opponent, because everything he does, you're out in front of by that second. Especially when Ornelas comes to him. You realize all the options that Shumenov has not to get hit, whether it's moving left, whether it's moving right, whether it's slipping, throwing the right hand lead after the shuffle. There's a lot that he shows you after Ornelas tries to throw.
Absolutely. And Ornelas, you just see, trying to be offensive, he's lunging forward. He's coming about it the wrong way. He's got to work behind that jab, and he's got to set up punches to Shumenov's body and then come up to the head. He's not going to have success just lunging forward like he is.
Talked about the guys in the division in 175, guys like Chad Dawson, Tavares Plouch, Nathan Cleverly. Even down at 168, you've got Carl Froch, who just came up with a big victory. Got Ward. Where do you see, could he be okay to catch weight with a guy from 168, say Froch coming up?
I'm not sure.
Or is he just too high for that?
I'm not sure what he walks around. Let's definitely talk about this next round. I got a lot to say about this.
Okay, we'll get to it. In the meantime, round 8 coming to a close, and more Shumenov on top.
Falta mucho, amigo, no te falta mucho, no te falta mucho. Nomás cuídate con su derecha, levanta tu izquierda, amigo. Pero no te queda mucho atrás, éntrale, le tienes que tirar algo, ¿eh? No te esperes tanto, cuando está encima de ti, tira, agáchate y tira abajo, ¿eh? Tira al pecho, tira al hombro, tira donde quiera.
We had in 3 rounds. No weaknesses, very good. Defense sharp, footwork is sharp, distance is great. Those body shots is hurting him, so I took it upstairs a little bit more.
Giving Shumenov some good report card marks, telling him to go upstairs a little bit more. And we're at the joint. The joint is rocking at the Hard Rock. It's a great place to be, and it's a great venue for a fight. So here we go into round 9. Beibut Shumenov 12-1, 8 knockouts. Enrique Ornelas 33-7, 21 knockouts. Shumenov, the WBA light heavyweight champion. And we talked about a few things. Dave Bontempo and BJ Flores. Now, BJ, being an excellent cruiserweight yourself and having trained with Shumenov, what would be your managerial blueprint for where you'd like to see this guy go?
You know, after this fight, if I couldn't get one of the champions in the unification fight, I would fight my #1 mandatory contender and then free up a little more time, because I don't believe Shumenov's done that for quite some time. But then he's got a lot of huge names coming up from the 168-pound division. We just had that Super 6 tournament. Andre Ward, Andre Durrell, Carl Froch, Mikkel Kessler, a lot of big-name guys at 168. It will slowly start to move into the 175-pound division, and Beibut Shumenov can really test himself against other guys with big names.
They're going to come up to him, and as opposed to, say, a catch weight in between, you figure they have to go all the way up to 175, and that's where that fight would get made.
I would think so, because, you know, like Floyd Mayweather says, you know, I'm fighting Miguel Cotto at 154 pounds, not at 150 or 151. I think that's the best way to do it. You know, when the guys want to move up, they got to move up to a full light heavyweight. You can't always have your cake and eat it too.
All right, but of course everybody tries. So, all right, halfway through round 9. Beibut Shumenov really putting on an interesting show as well as a dominating performance. Sometimes a guy can dominate and it's not exciting, but this is.
Very dominating. You saw him just land about 20 seconds ago. A nice straight right hand to the body, keeping Enrique Ornelas out at bay with his jab, continually landing right hands, straight right hands and overhand rights, and will occasionally mix in the right uppercut just to throw him completely off. So he's really having his way with Ornelas right now.
And the one thing that makes him tougher too is he doesn't have that lazy round. You don't see him taking any time off.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. This guy's in great shape. Good right hand by Ornelas. Probably one of his best punches of the fight.
And it draws return fire from Shumenov. He's got Ornelas cornered.
Nice. And you see Ornelas with that high guard. Every time Shumenov punches that high guard, doesn't really move his head, blocks the punches with the gloves. After that right hand, that's where I feel like that left uppercut, Oscar De La Hoya used to shoot it very effectively, would be so crucial in this this point of the fight. The left uppercut right there to pick his head back up to be able to land more offense.
Not to mention a punitive body shot right off of those two shots to the glove. So for Shumenov, the magic continues as we work our way down to the end of round 9. Shumenov in complete control.
And right here, both guys' feet got tangled up a little bit. Shumenov was leaning back, and Ornelas actually attempted a punch. The rope stopped Shumenov from possibly going down, but it wasn't caused by a clean punch, so therefore Joe Cortez made the right ruling and no knockdown.
He was right on top of that. As we start round 10, Beibut Shumenov, WBA light heavyweight champion. After just 13 fights, he's 12-1 with 8 knockouts. And he's been a champion for a couple of years now. As we mentioned at the top, native of Kazakhstan, and came over here. Las Vegas is his home now. A lot of people come to Las Vegas and they stay.
Great place to live. And touching up on when Shumenov won the championship, you know, he beat a very, very tough and game Gabriel Campillo, who recently had a very close and controversial decision loss to Divorce Cloud. So he proved his mettle in that fight. And ever since then, he's fought William Joppi, Danny Santiago, and now Ornelas. It's time for him to go back to the drawing board and say, listen, we're going to pick out a tough top guy and really make a statement in the light heavyweight division.
You want to do that for marquee reasons, and also, you know, big money will follow you if you have the tough fight. You have the marquee fight, the big television date. This one, they're coming off of a 11-month layoff. Nice left uppercut there by Shumenov.
The punch we were just talking about. And I think, like you were saying, Dave, Shumenov's not so money motivated. I believe his family, they own quite a few banks over in Kazakhstan, and they're doing very well. And I don't think the reason for Shumenov fighting so much and so regularly is money. I think he really wants to test himself against the best, and he's got to be able to fight the other champions to do that.
That's a slip. So they own banks over there, huh? Maybe we have to see them.
Exactly. So Shumenov isn't so money motivated. He wants to test himself against the best fighters out there.
We get the sense that might be sooner than later.
I hope so. After what we're seeing tonight, you know, the lower tier guys are simply not on his level. And, you know, he's at a point where he wants to go against the best.
So here in round 10, with Ornelas coming at him, there's the jab by Shumenov.
And it's beautiful to see Shumenov just sliding out to his right, sliding out to his left, still out of range for Ornelas. Yet when he wants to punch, he simply slides back in and makes great contact.
He's fighting as if he is under a command to win every round, because he never fights as if he's got a comfortable lead. He fights as if he needs to win that round.
He does. He fights every round like it's almost the last round of his life. And, you know, that's what we need to see out of fighters nowadays. That's the entertainment factor that the people pay to see.
A rare quality and a good one as you take a look at the...
You're looking fine. Don't worry about nothing, brother.
Corner tending to him.
Where's the water?
And it's not often will you hear the corner say, you're doing fine, don't worry about anything. But that's applicable tonight.
I couldn't think of anything better to possibly say in the corner of Shumenov right now.
Strength and weakness.
His weakness, he's just covering up.
Strength, man. His strength.
His strength is nothing. He's just trying to time you.
Okay.
He's keeping his hands very tight. There's
What's
not many
my mistake?
openings. Only mistake. There is really no mistakes.
Okay.
You can pick it up a little bit on him. That's about it. A few uppercuts. His hands are here. But that's great work. He's just being conscious. Every bunyo shit.
Here's what happened in that last round with Ornelas down, but not down because Joe Cortez got that view. He was right on top of it. Into round 11 we go. Beibut Shumenov and Enrique Ornelas.
What happened on that punch was more of the same. Ornelas lunging forward, not following behind his jab, and simply lost balance when Shumenov rolled out of the corner.
And we've seen a lot of things from Shumenov tonight as he continues to flurry. He showed us this in the first round. And one thing that, get the idea, this has to seep into the mind of a champion. He goes in against the guy and does not really fear what the guy can do to him. He's not a big puncher, and he senses the guy's not going to hurt him. And we see him shift into even a more offensive gear.
Yeah, you heard him ask Dewey Cooper in between rounds, his trainer, you know, where are his openings? What am I doing wrong? He wants to get this guy out of here, and you like to see that sense of urgency in a champion going into round number 11.
Yeah, Ornelas is durable, if nothing else.
Nice right hand Shumenov landed with his back against the ropes.
And what Ornelas does is he loses the fights in the big stage and then goes back and beats the lower tier guys. He won 3 fights in a row coming in here, so he regrouped and came in, hoping that he could score the miracle and maybe catch Shumenov with some ring rust, but that has not happened at all. This is a guy that you talked about him being a gym rat, and he looks like he's never been away.
Not only is he in better shape, though, Dave, he's got a tremendous amateur pedigree. He comes from those Russian bloc, Eastern Asia, amateur programs that really teach their guys how to fight. And, he hasn't forgotten. Not only has he not forgotten, he's improved from his amateur days to now, because when I used to work with him a few years back, he wasn't as complete of a fighter as he is now.
What's the biggest change that's come over him?
Back in the day when we would spar, whenever you catch Beibut with a punch, he immediately wants to run back on you and fire back, and he can get caught with another punch. Sometimes, too, guys that put pressure on him, they would be able to get inside and fluster him a little bit with good body shots. I remember when Carlos De Leon and Beibut Shumenov, a good super middleweight, they would spar. Carlos would give Beibut all kinds of problems, but I don't think Carlos would be, giving him too many problems now. Beibut's made a lot of adjustments. He's improved a lot, and he's looking very good tonight.
So he made the adjustment of jumping on a guy after he gets hit into being more refined, which is something a lot of guys tell you they're going to do, but they can't.
Yeah, I think his corner, you can attribute that to his corner and his team. Experience, rounds, good time in the gym, and just him gaining more experience in the ring to think that, I got 12 rounds to get this guy back. I don't need to walk back into something dumb again.
He's been setting a nice pace for this fight and has been as elusive as he has been dominant. So Beibut Shumenov closing in on another good round of boxing against Ornelas.
Good right hand by Shumenov.
So we'll have one more round to go for Shumenov. You get the idea, he can go 30 rounds like this tonight.
Este es el último. Si no tiras, no ganas, ¿eh? Si no tiras, no ganas. Tienes que tirar. Ponte loco si quieres, hijo. Pero si no tiras, no ganas, ¿eh? No te puedo decir más. No te puedo decir más, ¿ok?
What can they tell Ornelas that they haven't already told
Just
him?
trying to make it. Pretending like he's coming, but he's not. He's just trying to get lucky, hoping you make a mistake.
Okay.
His defense is very...
Con la llave aquí, con la derecha arriba, ¿eh? Pero tienes que tirar más de dos, ¿eh? Él lo más tira 1, 2, tú ponte para atrás y luego con 3, 4. Pero ponte loco, si no...
Here we have Shumenov once again behind the double jab, effectively landing the right hand, bringing the overhand right, noticing that Ornelas' guard is in front of him, looping that right hand, trying to land it back behind that left ear. Just effective, smart punching by a good world champion.
All right, so into round 12 we go. It has been a fine performance by Beibut Shumenov, the WBA light heavyweight champion, on his Las Vegas home turf, defending the title against Enrique Ornelas, and it has been a lopsided event.
And Ornelas came out at the start of this 12th round. He's trying to make it a fight. Landed a couple punches there, put his head down, tried to push it off, and Shumenov just rolled off gracefully, and he's back in the middle of the ring. More problems for Ornelas.
Shumenov with the double jab.
See Ornelas try to time the right hand over Beibut's jab. A nice jab coming in. Landed a couple good punches in this round.
Here comes Shumenov trying to close down, knowing that last opportunity.
And there's the retaliation I talked about. I thought Shumenov had shaken that, but he gets hit with a punch, he immediately wants to come back. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Ornelas, we mentioned, losing at 168 to Hopkins and Stiglitz, and then here. Is he at opponent level or a little higher, Ornelas?
You know, at the championship level, he's definitely not there, but he's definitely, you know, a notch or two below that, where he can test the guys up and coming. But as far as being a champion himself, I just don't see him beating any of those top guys at 175 pounds. Maybe if he went back to 168, you know, he could be more of a lower level guy to test guys that are up and coming right before they fight champions.
Here comes Shumenov. Good right hand to the body by Shumenov.
Just so active and so alert, even into the 12th round. Very sharp, hasn't taken any big punches. That's what you like to see from your fighter. Be offensive, but still be defensive at the same time.
Left hook by Ornelas. And we talked about sparring partner mentality or showcasing the other guy. And he was in a unique doubleheader with Hopkins in 2009 on the same night Roy Jones was fighting. And they had Hopkins and Roy Jones in separate fights, and they were supposed to fight after that, but Roy Jones got beat.
He sure did.
So you set up, these two guys will fight, and the winners will make it happen. It doesn't always work that way. But Ornelas is not going to be able to spoil anything here for Shumenov. Good right hand here by Shumenov.
Shumenov more the same. Good right hand. Nice right hand. He's got Ornelas in a little bit of trouble here. It's not going to be enough to finish him off before the end of the bell. Teeing off.
It's the best of everything. And as they shake hands and embrace, one thing you have to love, I think, about Shumenov here is that he fought like he was trying to take a title rather than a guy that had one.
He did, Dave. He fought like he was going into the champion's hometown and had to sweep every single round. That's exactly what he did tonight. Here we see some of the highlights from round 12. Shumenov shooting that loopy right hand and coming with the straight right hand, bringing the right uppercut, catches Ornelas against the ropes. He's got him in a lot of trouble here. And, you know, Ornelas really doesn't have a lot of answers right here. Shumenov has been too strong, too fast for him all night. Just more of the same here in round 12. Punches underneath, nice right uppercut, punches over. Just Ornelas doesn't have an answer.
He had some problems with big guys at 168 who did not show him that much speed. And at 175, more of the same for him. Meanwhile, for Shumenov, I like the fact that there was no laziness, there were no rounds off. He did not fight down to Ornelas' level, which is very important for a champion to display. And getting ready to get the final numbers, let's get them. Hey, go ahead, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of championship boxing, we go to the scorecards. All three judges scored this bout the same, 120 to 108 for the winner by unanimous decision. He is still the WBA, IBA light heavyweight champion, Beibut Shumenov.
All right, Beibut Shumenov, what's your final assessment of how he did tonight?
No, I think he beat a guy that everyone expected him to beat tonight. However, with that being said, he did not fight down to the level of his opposition. He was very clean, very powerful, very strong, and made a strong statement to other light heavyweights out there that he is ready to unify or ready to face some of the top up-and-comers in the light heavyweight division.
All right, keeps you wanting more, as this is how it transpired. Shumenov putting the pressure on Ornelas right from the start. Body shots, the quick feet, the gliding into his openings. This was the same all night. Never took a round off. Piled up point after point. It's been a great night. Thank you for joining us. For Frank Belmont and JD, this is Dave Bontempo saying so long.